Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome to our first impressions video for the newly announced civilization, Hungary, in the Civilization 6 expansion, Gathering Storm. This looks to be a very interesting civilization with a lot of power behind it. But let's go ahead and get into the video, and we'll kind of pause as we go and break it down. Here we go.
Matthias Corvinus leads Hungary in Civilization 6, Gathering Storm. He was king from 1458 to 1490. Despite infamy for high taxation, he became a popular folk hero as Matthias the Just. Hungary's unique ability is Pearl of the Danube. Districts and buildings constructed across a river from a city center are built faster.
All right, let's pause it for a second here. We'll back it up here. If you see this holy site, when it's built not next to the river, it takes 6 turns. But then when you build it next to the river, it drops it down to 4 turns. It's a pretty good increase in production. And it works for not only for the districts, but also for the buildings inside those districts. This guy's going to be able to build districts and buildings very, very quickly. Although he does have the very, strict requirement that you have to be across the river. So, not every river tile is going to work for you. And you do need to make sure you build your cities next to a river to be able to take advantage of that. But if you can, this is a pretty big boost. It looks like it's, like I said, going from 6 to 4. It's a pretty sizable increase in productivity there. It's what, like a 30% increase in productivity? You build it in 2/3. I guess you build it in 2/3 of the time. Maybe it's something like that. I forget. I think it's a 50% increase in productivity, but you build it in 2/3 of the time. Math is funny, but anyway. But yeah, this is a good bonus. I think this is going to help you be very versatile because it's not restricted to a certain type of district. It's for any of the districts. So if you want to go, like shown here, you go on the holy site. But if you wanted to go maybe industrial or culture or anything like that, any of those districts that you decide to build there are going to be built faster along with those buildings. So it really does add to that ability to be very versatile with a civilization. Let's keep going here.
Their unique building is the thermal bath. It replaces the zoo and provides amenities and protection to every city center within its range.
All right, so thermal bath replaces the zoo. You get amenities and production. I mean, obviously, you already get amenities from a zoo anyway, but then adding in the production is a pretty big deal. And getting this production and amenities for every city within 6 tiles, just like the zoo was before, that's pretty cool. I mean, having that extra production obviously is the net new here that the zoo would not have provided before. So it's going to be, you're going to have a lot of these around. You're going to make sure that you keep your people happy, and then you're going to get a little bit of production. Not a ton. I mean, it's not factory level production, but it's a good amount of production that you're going to be able to add to all of your cities to kind of really help you continue to grow.
If there is a geothermal fissure within the city's borders, it also provides tourism and additional amenities.
So tourism and additional amenities. Now, this is a pretty big deal. Obviously, this is where it goes even one level up higher than the zoo as far as the amenities are concerned. And you're going to really be able to make your cities quite a bit happier and keep the loyalty high as well. Not to mention the tourism, throwing the tourism back in there and kind of leads towards, obviously production is going to help you with a science or domination victory, but then the tourism comes in there can help you with the culture victory. So, I mean, I'm really looking to it seem like Hungary here is going to be fairly versatile in a lot of ways. Of course, we're about to get to some other bonuses here that might trend you toward a certain direction, but I think there is a lot of versatility here as well.
Hungary's unique unit is the Huszár. This is an industrial-era light cavalry unit that receives a combat bonus for every active alliance.
So you get +3 strength for each active alliance, because obviously you can see here they have 2 active alliances and he's getting +6 strength. Obviously, the bigger the game, the more that benefit bonus is going to help you. If you're playing, with 10 opponents or something like that, and you've got every possible alliance that you can have, that's a pretty significant boost in alliance strength, or should I say combat strength from those alliances. So the more allies, the better. It does mean that you're going to be able to kind of zero in a target on a specific person while keeping everybody else friendly and on your side. Well, until it's their turn to go down, I suppose. But I think this is going to be a cool feature, cool benefit. It does make these guys pretty strong in a sense. I mean, these Huszars are going to be pretty big deal. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I think this looks good. It does give you a lot of value for those alliances that some of the other civilizations don't necessarily have that same quite that same bonus. I think this is a good one.
Matthias Corvinus' unique ability is the Raven King.
All right, so the Raven King here is Well, we're going to get into that here in a second, but I just wanted to pause on this screen so that you can see the Huszár. It does, in fact, say +3 combat strength for every active alliance, so that's good. You got the thermal baths to your +2 amenities, +2 production, and then the +3 tourism for the thermal baths if they have the geothermal fissure, as well as an extra +2 amenities. So that's mostly why I wanted to pause the screen, is to show those other details for those other bonuses as well. Anything else here I wanted to jump into? No, I think we're about to get some more explanation for these other ones.
Levied units gain movement and combat strength, and it costs no gold or resources to upgrade levied units.
So levied units gain movement and combat strength, and it costs nothing to upgrade them. One of the negatives that I've seen a lot, and the reason why I've actually never levied units before in any game I've ever done, is that a lot of times by the time you get to a point where, you're ready to levy something, they're probably, either further behind in tech than you, so they're not really that useful. Sometimes they might be in the wrong location of the map. So here the movement speed is going to help you make up for that. And then, getting the extra combat strength means that these units are actually going to be stronger than your own units of the same type. So already we're seeing 3 huge bonuses that knock off, a few of the, negatives of levying units in the past, so, and this isn't it. There's going to be more here in a second.
Levying troops from a city-state also rewards 2 envoys with that city-state.
Levying troops from a city-state gives you 2 envoys. That's going to solve another problem that levying troops has in the past, where what if you lost the suzerain status once you've already levied those units? Then it's a lot harder to hold on to those. You don't want to lose all that work that you put in there. Now, granted, it's not costing you gold to upgrade them, but being able to get 2 envoys is going to solidify that suzerainty with these guys, and it also adds in the ability to save up gold and just levy units, even if you don't mean to use them. You're like, I have no intention of using these units. Let me levy your troops so I can get 2 free envoys with you. I'll go ahead and give you a round of upgrades for free to make sure that you're protected against the other civilizations. And then later on in the game, maybe I'll actually use you for real. Like, it's going to give you a reason to go levy units, even if you don't mean to use them right that second. You want to keep these civilizations or these city-states in the game. So you're going to levy them, get the 2 free envoys. Honestly, you may levy them as much as you possibly can, gold willing. And that way you can keep them upgraded, keep those envoys rolling, and kind of go from there. So I think these are some really cool bonuses that's going to help me, anybody, be able to take advantage of a feature of the game, levying units that you might not normally do.
The Raven King also grants the unique unit, the Black Army, a light cavalry unit that gets additional strength for adjacent levied units.
Black Army gets additional strength for levied units. So, you're not just going to send your levied units out there. You're going to have your own support troops to help them out. And they're going to get bonuses for adjacent troops, which is pretty cool. And so this Black Army, is going to help you kind of command those troops, in a way, whatever you want to call it. But it's also a light cavalry. And she's about to say here in a second that the Black Army can also upgrade to your Huszár. So you're going to make your Black Armies as soon as you can get them, be able to go out, conquer with your levied units, get your Black Army some promotions. And then when they turn into Huszārs later, they're going to be even better because they're going to already have those promotions. I think this is the only unique unit that I could think of. There's obviously very few civilizations that have 2 unique units. America and mind blank the other one. I apologize, but this is one that actually upgrades into itself. That's going to make this one even more powerful. Having a unique unit upgraded into itself is pretty significant for those extra promotions.
Hungary is a civilization built for rapid expansion and domination. The Black Army upgrades into the Huszár, giving Matthias an extra military.
All right, I'm going to pause you right here for a second. This is actually just a side comment. As you can see here, the upgrade to the Huszár is 125 gold and 6 niter. This goes back to one of the features or the changes that they've made with Gathering Storm, in that your strategic resources no longer just give you a copy or 2 or something like that, and if you have that, you can upgrade. Now they're consumables. You build up these things over time. As you can see here at the top of the screen, they've got 21 horses, 128 iron, and 6 niter right now. And so you're going to build these up over time, and then when you spend them, it goes away permanently, type of thing. So maybe every turn you get two niter. And so as soon as you get the 6, you can upgrade something, and it goes back down to 0, etc. And you kind of rinse, repeat type of thing. So it's a different way of doing the strategic resources, but I think there's going to be, I think it does give us a lot more value as well. I'm assuming if you lose your niter, and like civilization and other civilizations past, if you lost a strategic resource, you lost some strength on that unit. I don't think that's the case here anymore. It hasn't been the case in Civilization 6 up to now, and it doesn't seem like there would be a reason for that to exist here if you lost that niter, that suddenly your upgraded Hussar is weaker for any reason. So I think that's okay. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting way of doing things. Maybe you trade with somebody for just long enough just to get enough niter to upgrade all your units, and then you don't care about it anymore. So I think there's some benefits here. But definitely a new feature that they haven't talked a whole lot about, but is in the game.
Edge for a long period of the game, and thermal baths will be particularly useful to keep conquered cities loyal. River settlements will develop quickly, leaving you plenty of time to produce more military units. To further bolster your army, keep up with city-state relationships and take advantage of levied units. Will your mercenary armies flood over the riverbanks and establish a mighty empire? How will you lead Hungary in Sid Meier's Civilization 6: Gathering Storm?
All right, so Hungary is going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, he's all about building on rivers, taking advantage of his extra amenities and whatnot to keep his loyalty high and keep his cities productive, and then which is in a way kind of ironic because a lot of his military is going to come from levying troops. He's going to levy, the city-states around him. It does put a whole lot more value on him keeping those city-states alive and running and available. If somebody takes a city-state, that may be your target, to go take that city-state back and release it again so that it can start building units again, is happier with you, and you can build up that suzerainty and leverage those units. So he's going to have really good production, but he's also not going to necessarily need it so much. I mean, he's going to build a few of his own cavalry of each type, the both of his unique units. But beyond that, and obviously, city-states don't always build the units that you want. So you might have to throw in a couple, siege units and things like that to kind of mix it in. But, and sometimes they don't always have, the right mix of, naval units, stuff like that. So you're going to have to mix and match your own units to kind of support those. But it's just a massive boost. It's really economy. Gold is going to be your key here. Gold and keeping your envoys up so that you can leverage those guys when the time comes. I mean, it would not be impossible. In fact, it would probably be very likely and a very good strategy to find a couple city-states on a continent and just, what? Those city-states are going to be my army this time. Let me go leverage those units to attack the city, take a city, and then you have a foothold when those units go back to those city-states. So I think it's going to be a really cool way to play. It's going to be a little bit different. Like I said, I've never, levied units before because it's just either the city-states are already gone because the other cities or civilizations take them out so quickly, or they're just too weak, it's just not worth the gold and things like that. But this guy's going to make them well worth the gold, well worth the investment. And it's really going to be kind of a cool, kind of exciting way to play. And obviously, domination is very much going to be in his cards to play. But at the same time, maybe all you do with those units is, let me go pillage your spaceports with these levied units that I don't care if they get sacrificed so that I can focus on my space victory or my culture victory or whatever victory. Like, you can go use those units to cause chaos, maybe not necessarily take cities. And I think it's still valid, and probably the most recommended option is to use them in a conquest victory. But you don't have to. You could use those units to be chaotic all around the map. You basically have mercenaries all around the world, wherever city-states are, and they're scattered around the world. You have mercenaries around the world they can use for havoc to be able to kind of cripple your opponents so that you can go for whatever victory type you want. I do think Hungary is very well suited for any victory type. Maybe less so for faith, a religious victory, just because it doesn't really have any specific bonuses for those. But there's no reason he couldn't. And I think any of the victory types could be useful for him. So it's going to be exciting to see. I think it's a very good civilization to play as. One, actually, I'm looking forward to playing as, probably as one of the first ones that I try out. Of course, we haven't seen the others. There's still 8 more civilizations, or at least 8 more leaders to come, and 7 more civilizations. So it's going to be cool to see. I hope you guys join me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please show me comment below of what your thoughts about this civilization are. And I'm excited to see what other ones they've got coming. If this is the first one, man, the rest of them are going to be crazy. So I thank you again, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.